Hi guys, so I'm doing a reading on Hillary Clinton. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I just wanted to say that I know this video may attract a lot of trolling, a lot of propaganda, and I will be moderating this video, the comments underneath this video, just so we can have a more sort of respectful conversation. And I am doing this reading also because many people requested a reading on her, and a lot of people have been asking, is she going to come back? What's going to happen if it's indeed true that the election is going to be nullified? I don't feel that I can say with certainty what's going to happen to her, if she's going to be a president necessarily. It does look like she's going to come back in some way, and that's that. Okay, like I said, this is a sort of video and topic that I would hesitate to make some sort of claim that whatever I'm saying is true or not true. Okay, I'm just looking at the cards and interpreting the images that I see in front of me. Okay, all right, so just adjust here a little bit. Let's get started with Hillary Clinton. Okay, so the first thing, just get a little bit some more coffee here. The first thing that I noticed, because I actually did this reading last night, and I think I was too tired to create this, right, to put the cards together, create the story, because this is one of those things that I feel you have to be as focused as possible, because there's so much detail and it's kind of intense, right? Hillary's situation. So anyway, so the first thing that I noticed right away when I flipped the cards up was that in the center of the reading is the Russia investigation and the authoritarian empire, the empire upside down, which means a person abusing power and a secret coming out. So what it tells me is that the fate of Hillary is tied to that of the investigation, in the sense that the results of the investigation are going to impact her. Okay, I'll show you. It says that a lot. Okay, so I'll show you the center of the reading. So we've talked about this before. This is a person in a position of power who abuses power. This is the wrong side of leadership. Okay, abusive power. Abusive power, pretty much. Okay, that's what it means. Foreign power influence. This is a card of juggling multiple balls in the air, but it's also a card of change in the practical sense, right? There's the Wheel of Fortune, for example, is a card of change, but it's a card of change in a more sort of big picture. This, I feel, has to do with the juggling, the details of changes, okay? And this is a secret. So what I feel this is telling me is that the secret's coming out about the relationship between this person abusing power and the Russians. The secret about the Russians and the Russians influencing this person who's abusing power is the core of the question. Even though I really, the main question was Hillary, but the person who showed up in the center was Trump. So this is how important this is. I don't want to say for her as a person, but for her as a figure. In a way, her fate is tied to the situation somehow, okay? Okay, and then I'll go back to the beginning of the reading. And it's interesting how this reading is structured, because I feel that from here to here, that's the present to the future, or how it develops further out. And in this section, I could see that it's like her story. Well, I guess, okay, let me just backtrack a little bit. The rest of the reading, most of the readings that I do, it's almost linear, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, things connect. But in this reading, this pops out almost, it's almost like, it's sort of like almost out of line in an interesting way, because the entire reading shows things happening to her as if, how do you say this? As if you weren't an obstacle, okay? And it tells her story, and then this shows up, almost as if it's telling me that this is the right now for her, but all these other things are going to happen regardless. because most of them, one thing leads to another, and one thing leads, they usually lead to the center, but this reading, it doesn't, which I think is interesting. I don't know exactly what this means. It's just showing that the consequences of this person's, right, the abusive leader, the foreign influence, and the secret of all this coming out is going to impact her, but her life is very different from that. Okay, so it starts with this is nice. It's a card of hope, future, dreams. And in a way, this confirms this. This is a card of the stork, and that's a card of positive changes, of looking forward to the future. That's a card of pregnancy, of when people move. It's basically making a positive move, sort of a step up, okay? Underneath we have the Queen of Cups upside down and a gift. So what I feel this means, I think this is her. It seems that she's despondent, she's very upset, she's very sad, okay? And in a way, and I asked myself this question, whether this was about the past, okay? and I guess we'll discuss how the reading progresses, but I feel like this is not about the past. This is what was going to happen after. Okay, or maybe, yeah, I'll tell you why I don't think it shows here. It doesn't, because the cards before the whole thing with the leader, well, not corrupt, the person who abuses power and has the Russian influence, it doesn't show that she lost anything. It just shows her going up. So that's what I think is interesting. Okay, because it doesn't show, like I said, the linear progression of this. She had hopes, she was almost going to win, and she lost, it wasn't fair. It shows in the other second part of the reading, but not now. So I think this is significant and interesting to our purposes. Okay, so all right. All right, let me just talk about the second part, and then we'll combine the two because they are important, I think. All right, so here we have Hermit and Anchor. Okay, so I feel like this showed me, if we looked at the card before, it's Queen of Cups reversed, and the Hermit. Something about this shows me that she was looking inward, and that's how it's showing just her personality. Okay, in a way, what happened to her since, I guess, the election, or what has led to today. Okay. And this, I think it's an interesting card for her and for the questions that I think most people are asking, what's going to happen to her next. And by the way, I will do another reading, a timeline-based reading. Okay, this is just about the story. And to me, this looks like she's anchored to the government. That's her job, is in the government. And this card is very interesting because it's the beginning of the execution of a plan. Okay, so I'll combine the two. And I can tell that I'm being super careful with my language because I don't want anything to feel as though I'm giving people the hope or the certainty that she's going to come back or something. But I just wanted to show. Okay, so this is the card of hope. Okay, the bright future. And this says that there's going to be a positive change, a move up to something better. And this is a person who's been sort of like a spiritual seeker, but a person who's isolated, probably at home, thinking, and just a sort of an hermit card. But maybe because I'm a little bit like this, I see it as a positive. Like sometimes taking the time off to really consider your ideas and what you care about is important. So in a way, it's showing that this change is grounded. And in a way, I think it says it's going to happen. Because if you think about it, the anchor is a progression of this. So it's like you're going to go into a new direction and you put your anchor down. And what is the anchor? The government, and executing plans in the government. Okay. So what I think is interesting is that, like I said, I don't, only in the other part of the reading, but right now it doesn't show her not doing this. This is what I think is interesting, because it's very detailed. If it were just a plan, I don't think that it would be this detailed. Okay, like this. So again, like I said, it's a gift, it's an opportunity, an invitation. This is also significant. She's having an invitation, and meaning by hopeful invitation to create change in a positive way, and this change is probably going to be permanent or grounded in the government somehow. Okay, so that's that. Okay, that's the left side of Hillary Clinton's reading, and it's not clear. I feel like I'm repeating myself again. If this is, I don't believe this is about the past necessarily, because those things, maybe that was her hope. I just don't see any on this side. I don't see disappointment. I don't see something not happening. I just feel like it's somehow related to something that probably is going to happen to her in some way. Okay, so now we're going to go to the right side of the reading, which, as we know, what I've discussed before, so after this happens, it's a person abusing power with a foreign influence and dealing with all the changes related to the secret coming out. Okay, so after this we have, okay, guilt. The key is guilt in turning the plans upside down. Okay, making the choice, the process of understanding, making this choice and seeing this guilt. Okay, and what I think this means in relationship, especially to the cards that were next to it. Let me show you this. It's important. I think it's very important, because in a way it's interesting that obviously both Trump and Clinton affect us, because whatever happens to them is related to the country too. Okay, so you can see here that this emperor upside down is guilty, right? So it's saying here the foreign government is guilty, and by extension so is the upside down person. Okay, and the key is the secret, right? The secret is right next to it, so it's showing the key. So the key is the secret, and what it just confirms what this is already saying here, which is that when the foreign government and the upside down person are confirmed to be guilty for trying to turn the world upside down, then things are going to change for her. But the key, up until the moment when he is found guilty, okay, that basically the moment when guilt is real, then things really change for her in a good way. Okay, all right, let me show you the next step, which is the last row. Okay, and this is a magician card, and I've showed this card before upside down. It comes up a lot for Trump, and well, I guess not anything, some things related to him, because it's the upside down, it's trickster, con artist. Right side up, it's magic in the right way of being able to transform your ideas into reality. So on top of that, we have a child, and we have a death turned around and lady. Here, I don't think that, I think this is Hillary, actually. I don't think this is Russia. It's always meant Russia, but I think in this context, because we've already discussed Russia in the center, and I don't really believe it's her. I believe this means a powerful, very powerful new beginning, because a child could also be a new start, okay, and a start. So it's a new start for this woman. And the very interesting card, the death turned upside down, to me means very literally, she is not dead yet, okay? It's like she's coming back from the dead. She was dismissed or thought to be dead, but it's not. She's not, because there's going to be a lot of power and a lot of momentum at this new beginning, okay, for this woman. All right? Okay. All right, so moving on to the second part of the reading. So, of course, I have been doing these readings on the Mueller investigation, and I got used to this format, and I don't, obviously she hasn't done anything wrong. It's the opposite, right? The whole plan, the proof has been that there's been collaboration between the Trump government and the foreign power against her exactly. So, but what I wanted to know is what happens after? What happens after the investigation? So, I used a similar spread, and first I laid out one row, and then I kept wanting to know more and more, and I did the format as I've done for other things. Okay, so this is, I think this is almost more interesting than, I'll just grab the first row and then talk about it. Okay, all right. So this is Nine of Cups upside down. I'm going to show everything together so we have an idea, and then I'll break the parts. Okay, so this is the card that I've said before, election, and this is about getting. When this card shows up like this, it's like your dreams come true. When this is upside down, in a way, it could be that the dreams did not come true, but that getting what they wanted. I feel like what this means here essentially is that they got what they wanted, but, or that she, well, maybe because it's her, actually somehow I didn't think about it. She didn't get what she wanted. But I think here too it means that they got what they wanted, but they bought it. It wasn't a rightful getting what they want. They schemed to get it, which shows this is the card of the fox. So it confirms this. So basically this election, and then this is public, and this is society. So this has come up before, the rightful victory. Okay, here the rightful victory becomes public, and the choice. This is also a repetition in some ways of this card here, election, because lovers means love, but it also means choices. So there's issues with the election, meaning the behind the scenes stuff that went on regarding the choice, regarding the election, the wrong way of getting what you want, in a way, right? Because the fox is here. And just separate them because it's a little easier. So election, public, shady deals behind the scenes. So the shady deals behind the scenes come to the fore and become public, okay, about the election. And behind that we have choice, we have the rightful victory, and getting what you want the wrong way. So what this tells me essentially is that the shady things that happened about the election are going to come out, and the right way of winning is going to manifest itself, okay, in a way or another, right? Okay. So then, in a way, this part of the reading talks a lot about values, and I'll okay. So this is a card of family values, and this was upside down. I've showed this card before about families and family values. I showed this card before upside down when it showed people like Jeff Sessions and I think Mike Pence, people who have the wrong idea about family or values, okay? But I was thinking about this card yesterday, and I thought, oh, you know what? If she is representing in some ways the presidency or somebody who could be a president, this could also mean family in the sense of the country, right? If a person has a position such that they represent the leader of an institution, then the family is the closest, right? In a way, it's a smaller unit than, so the country is made up of many families, if you think about it on a sort of a larger scale, connection and unity. And if we look at the cards, so there's people dancing, there's unity, right? Family, happy family. But if it's upside down, that's not you. It's the opposite. Lack of unity and turning these things down, turning these things around, okay? And we have a mount guard, which means it's going to be a long road because of this separation, okay? And this is a card of people working together upright. So I feel like this is it's an opportunity for people to work together. This was the harvest upside down. I'm going to put it like this. And to me, this means conversations. So this was an opportunity. This is a very difficult moment because it's going to take a lot, because the countries, in a way, there's a lot of, there's lack of unity, right? We know that in a way the president contributed to this for several reasons. And then but this, it's saying this represents an opportunity for people to work together and to really discuss how to, and I think I found this card to be, it's showing up lately and it's super interesting. If you think of a harvest, what's the wrong side of a harvest? It's weeds. I was thinking about this. We have to remove the weeds, right? We have to remove the bad seeds in a way. And I feel like it's a lot of public conversation about this. How do we work together as a nation to remove all these issues that caused this sort of massive criminal sort of thing to have happened to the election, and then also how to rebuild, right? Because it's not a situation where you kind of rebuild from something completely new. It's, you have to clean up the mess of somebody else, which is what Trump has, right? Trump is creating a mess. So if we assume that this is going to come to an end in some way, we have to clean up the mess after he leaves. And that's what is showing to me is the process of cleaning up the mess. Coming together, A, to work on good plans, and B, to remove the things that are not necessary. Okay. All right. And this is also pretty interesting. This is a upright abundance, upside down. I'm going to say lack of abundance, but problems getting to abundance. And this is a deal, business deal, or an opportunity, okay? This is the Page of Cups upside down. That's a person who's fury and bullying in the kind of more physical sense. It's not swords, but fire is just a person who is mean, who's willing to be very critical just to get what he wants. And then the Tree, which is a card of both growth and health. And then it's a very energetic, the Knight of Wands. A lot of leadership and fire. Okay, and then the Heart. So putting these together, I think this means that this is an opportunity, or we come to an agreement of some sort to grow, healthy grow, after this bullying and meanness that happened, and to fight with love. Oh my God, this is kind of beautiful, kind of profound, but I think this is it. It's a moment. Either she gets an opportunity, or she's presented with an opportunity to offer growth to the nation after bullying and meanness, and for the nation to grow with energy and heart and love. Okay, so that's that. So this is what's. I'm trying to think, look back at the reading and see what it's showing. What I feel like this second part of the reading is very clear in a way that it's kind of poetic in a way, because it shows the necessary work of rebuilding. Okay, and it's so strange. I look at this and for some reason I think of the Second World War, countries that were affected, England or even Germany after the war, when the Allies helped in some ways build the country back after the war. The Nazis the Nazis started, right? So it's kind of strange that the feeling I get this is that it's rebuilding after the war, because there's so much negativity, right, in what I'm seeing here, right? And everything that we've been talking about, there's just a lot of darkness. And what's showing is the way after the darkness, what happens, right? So in terms of Hillary herself, it's interesting because it's not showing her in the second part of the reading necessarily, or her job or something happening to her, but it's showing the context very clearly and what and how she may participate. But so just to recapitulate the story, just so I understand it even correctly, the second part of the reading is the shady winning of the election is exposed, and there's a rightful election in public, okay, or there's a rightful winning in public, okay. The wrong, I don't want to say that the wrong is made right, but the fact that the fox has been discovered and this is public tells me something about what happens after this entire discovery and after the fact that this man is found to be guilty, apparently, okay? So what's showing is that right after, it's very difficult. It's not easy. This is what I find interesting, and what I find that to be, I don't want to say a warning, but it's a little bit different than the narrative that people are saying, oh, nobody, what I feel is that no one person is going to be able to save everyone or do everything. It's going to be a collective project. And it's difficult because of the sort of separation that was, in a way, engineered to happen, but that this is a great opportunity for conversations on how to remove the wrongs that were caused by the other person and how to build as a nation, as a collective, okay? And that this is, I think, is interesting. This is an opportunity, and I don't know if she's offered an opportunity, right? In a way, if she, what I feel, yesterday I was thinking about this, does she come back as some sort of leader, or is she just she's contracted to do something temporary? I don't know, to be honest, I don't know, but what it's showing here is that it's an opportunity to grow again after the bullying and to focus the energy on love, okay, and things that the right values, right? The heart values are the right values, I think. So that's what I think. In a way, the reading tells me that, and I'm trying to think, okay, what if you didn't know that this was Hillary Clinton? Because, you know, obviously I know who she is, and I know everybody knows about the election. So what if I didn't know there was her, Hillary, right? What would I say looking at these cards? I would say that there had been an interruption in her fate or in her plans, but as soon as those weeds are removed, right? As soon as the guilt and the truth comes out about the election, then there's going to be a powerful new beginning for her, and that she represents hope and, in a way, a change, and that her job is about, in a way, maybe rebuilding the government or something related to the government. And it's going to be very difficult, and it's an opportunity for the country to come together, to work together, for discussions about how to cut these problems at the root. And it's an opportunity to grow through love. So that's what I see. Okay, and that's that. I'm going to do another reading on her. I don't know when exactly, maybe tomorrow, today, later on, about the timeline, her timeline. Because that helps. I felt like when I did this with Trump, it was very helpful. Because it's the sort of situation that, as you can see, is very complex, obviously. It's not something that, yes, it's going to happen. 1, 2, 3. And whoever gets the job next, whether it's, who knows, special election or regular election, it's not going to be easy because we've had so much obvious corruption and lying that there must be so much that we don't know about. And the news are so filled with, there's so much news all the time, right? So that's that. That's the story. And thanks for watching.